Hey there, artsy people. Welcome to my composition notebook series. This is the second series I'm doing. This is part 7. I'm going to build a mosaic. So a few weeks ago, I was trying to branch out in my creativity and decided to try this idea of doing index card art. So I started in the same way that I do some of my last composition notebook with kind of prepping some different index cards. And anyway, I got done with it and I thought, you know what? I don't think this is my jam. I think I'm just going to go back to doing my composition notebook. But I thought, well, I'll hold on to these index cards and I'm sure that they will come in handy later as fodder. So that's what I'm going to use them for today. I decided I'm going to pull those out, and I'm just showing you the ones that I chose to use because as I flipped through them all, a lot of the colors were very some of them were clashy, so I decided to go with mainly primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. I did pull out a purple one too, but I think it works pretty well. So I'm going to start by cutting up some pieces, getting my Mod Podge ready. And as I discussed in the last video, one thing I love about art journaling and just playing around is that I don't have to have the grandiose plan. I don't have to know what it's going to look like in the end. I can just enjoy it as I go. So I'm just going to start collaging and piecing together my little mosaic as I go and hope it turns out and hope I have enough pieces to cover it and it all works out. So anywho, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm just using some Mod Podge to piece them together. Now, with collaging, you can always overlap, but I wanted to kind of make a little puzzle out of all my pieces. One, so that I could stretch the my resources and use every bit of the page. So I did discover that as I was going, sometimes it was a little tricky trying to figure out how to cut the pieces just right. So if it was on the edge, I just made it easy by gluing it down first and then trimming it off so that it would fit nicely. Okay, since I have like this kind of funky shape that I want, I grabbed this piece of parchment paper that I've been using to put behind the pages that I'm working on so that I don't have any bleed over with paint. But it's transparent, so you could use like butcher paper or anything that's mostly transparent. And I just outlined the shape of the edges so that I could cut out the exact shape that I want to fit there. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay because perfection is never the goal. Yeah, so I'm cutting it out now. I'll see if it worked. Did it work? Kind of. Yeah, it almost matches up just right. Now that's a ginormous piece, so I'm going to trim it down, and that still feels too big, so I'm going to make it this big. Ta-da! But that's kind of fun. So I'm going to do the same thing with this blue piece, and yada yada. Now, as I go, of course, you don't want to put two like papers right next to each other. You want to space them out so that as your eye moves around the page, that there's kind of a balance with the colors. And certain colors are going to naturally pop out more. Like this, the yellow is gonna really pop out from the other pieces. I really like this black swirly paper that I made. That's kind of fun. And I like how when you trim it, it looks very, I don't know what the word is to describe it, but I like it. was starting to notice that up at the top now there's like some yellow missing. So I did that in a few places where I felt like it needed a color here and there, and then I did overlap in those. So, you know, again, there's no rules in art journaling. Just make it up as you go along, trimming off the edges. I'm kind of taking it slowly as I'm showing you on this first page, but I will speed it up. And as always, whenever you're watching a video, you probably already know this, but in YouTube, you can watch it at 1.25 or 1.5 or even up to 2 times as fast. I try to keep my pace fast enough that you don't get bored, but slow enough that you can kind of see what I'm doing. And but when I watch videos like maybe teaching videos and the person's talking slow, I just usually watch them at double speed, you know, because, you know, who's got time for that? So I'm getting to the end of my scraps, and I don't want to bring in a brand new color or a different index card because I don't want it to stand out as something weird. So what I'm going to do is use this empty space to write a quote. And I'm going to outline it to make the edge kind of stand out. So I'm just using the same colors, red, black, blue. Now, this isn't an exact quote, but I remember when I was in high school watching the movie When a Man Loves a Woman, and they were arguing, and the Meg Ryan character said, "You make me feel like blah, 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 blah." And her husband stopped her and said, "No one can make you feel a certain way." So, not that others don't affect the way that we feel, but we have the power to accept or reject what other people tell us. So never give anyone the power to take away your joy. This concept has really helped me over the years, just when I feel like emotions are taking control, that I am in control. So I like to pause periodically at each stage and kind of look at it from different angles and just take a moment to just ask myself for the page, are you finished? Do you want more? What do you want? I wait for it to kind of smile back. And I just wanted to keep going. I usually do that. I usually just keep going until I can't go anymore. I'm a very high detailed person, mostly because I'm just so enjoying the process that I don't want it to end. So I just find another way to make marks or enhance my page. So I am just going in and creating patterns within certain colors. So all of my yellows have the same like little circle bubbly pattern. And then I'm going in on the silver to make some blue dashes. And then I love how the silver just pops off the blue. So I'm kind of making it up as I go. So, okay, I've got some little ovals, and then I did some hash marks on the edges. So I'm going to try to replicate that as I go around the whole page. So If you're looking for like technique advice, that is something that I do quite regularly. If I have different elements all over the page, I kind of go layer by layer, pen by pen, and then go around and replicate it all over the page. Did I describe that right? I think that makes sense. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed watching my process and that you're inspired to go make some art of your own because it's fun. And have a blessed day.